You almost feel like you're in a whole different world, right, at the show. And then you leave and go back to your desk and think, what just happened? How do I even remember all the things that I saw? I do agree, take pictures. I take pictures of everything that I see. I think that's probably the single source of making sure I don't forget the things that I've seen versus writing them down. You might carry around a pen and pencil, but you're never going to be able to capture everything that you want to remember.
Welcome to another episode of Fresh Take with IDDBA. I'm your host, Kat Shanahan, Vice President of Marketing and Membership, and today we're bringing you a What's in Store episode where I have the pleasure of introducing you to Abby Despins, our new Vice President of Education and Industry Relations. Abby brings nearly 20 years of experience from within organizations that power our IDDBA community, including leadership roles at Emmi, Roth, and Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. Having been a longtime exhibitor at our annual show, she understands the unique challenges our members face because she's lived them firsthand. Abby, it is great to have you on the team. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. So I spent the last decade at Emmi Roth, a cheese company here in Wisconsin. We've been to the show every year over the last 10 years, and before I was there, and previously to that, I was, like you said, at Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. So I've had most of my career in dairy and always been to the show and known of IDDBA. So looking at making a shift to this capacity from the corporate world and being at the manufacturer side, I wanted to make a bigger difference in the industry. And I've spent so many years marketing cheese and talking about cheese and eating cheese, most importantly, that I was ready to really take that and expand it out and do something bigger and greater in the industry as a whole. So I'm really excited to do that.
I have two very important questions. The first is, what is your favorite cheese?
You can never ask a cheese person what their favorite cheese is.
I know. I had a lot of mixed feelings before I asked that question. Okay, so I understand the favorites thing. I don't like favorites either. What are your top 3 cheese recommendations?
Well, of course, I'm a Wisconsin girl, and I worked for the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, so I will always name Wisconsin cheeses. My very favorite cheese is Dunbarton Blue from Raleigh Cheese here in Wisconsin. It is fabulous. If you have not had it, go get it right now. I also can not complete this list without saying Pleasant Ridge Reserve from Andy Hatch here in Wisconsin. And then, of course, I need to give a nod to Emmi Roth because I spent several years there. So I would also say Roth Grand Cru, which is the signature cheese from Roth. It's made in Alpine style down in Monroe. So good. Definitely should add that to your list.
Okay, so for all of the summer holidays we have coming up with charcuterie boards, there's 3 cheeses to get you started.
Yes.
I love how you talked about wanting to make a bigger impact in the industry, and I believe you've got some experience with associations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I actually landed in Madison, Wisconsin because of an association. So I won't reveal how many years ago, but I made a trip down to Madison. I used to live in the Green Bay, Appleton area. And what brought me here is an association role. It was actually with a nursing association.
Oh, wow.
So it was the Preventive Cardiovascular Nurses Association. They're here in Madison. They're probably not listening to this, but if they do, shout out to them. Very different industry, of course, but I worked as their marketing director there in my first role here in Madison, and it's what brought me here. So it's very near and dear to my heart, the association world. So I spent several years there. We had an annual show. We had a board of directors, the whole thing, and it was a great experience that I will definitely be digging into during my time here as well.
Yeah, you have the perfect background for this role. We're so excited to have you on the team.
Thank you.
So as we talked about before, you've got about 15 years of experience inside member companies. How does being on the other side as a member and as an exhibitor influence how you plan to approach your role here?
Yeah, I've really experienced things from the inside for so long, right? And I was an attendee, an exhibitor, and I think what's really important is I'm able to have that lens. I'm trying not to lose that lens and remember how I felt as an exhibitor and as an attendee and bringing that here as long as I possibly can before I kind of forget how it was before. But I was in that driver's seat of understanding what it is we need as a company. And I'm really going to take that and use that and hopefully leverage what we needed as a manufacturer and what I knew about our relationships with retailers and what they need, and try to leverage that the best that I can here with our education, with What's in Store Live, and all of the partnerships and collaboration that we're doing throughout the industry.
I want to dig into that a little bit. I love how you've got experience with retailers, with manufacturers. As you're looking at educational resources that are most impactful for the industry, where do you see the biggest need right now?
Things have changed so drastically over the last 10 years for manufacturers, for retailers. The consumer is different than it was a decade ago, and we're navigating so much as an industry, like consumer shifts in the way they're shopping with online shopping, Instacart, shout out to my friends there, and like labor shortages, margin pressure, private label growth. Like there are so many things that are impacting both the manufacturer and the retailer right now that are big issues and things that we need to work through as an industry to come together on to push us forward, especially in dairy and deli. The dairy and the deli and the bakery are different than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we provide the education and the connection opportunities between them to really make a difference and make it matter and be relevant for our members.
The speed at which the industries are changing has been a huge topic of conversation for us on the podcast at the organization. So aside from educational resources, what do you hope IDDBA can do to support our members as they're trying to keep up with that pace while also remaining relevant?
I really think it's a lot about making connections, right? Well, our members are part of IDDBA, of course, to be at the show, but we also provide this conduit for relationships between the dairy, between the deli, between the bakery. We have more in common than not, right? I mean, we're an association for these categories for a reason, because we are the perimeter of the store. We have a lot of similarities. Our shoppers are very similar. So connecting us even more is something I really want to look at and challenge ourselves to do. Yeah. How can we find ways to work together? The shopper shops us together.
Yes.
So let's collaborate more. And I'm hoping that through this role, I can really serve as a connector between a dairy company and a bakery company, or a deli company, or meats and cheese and all the foods that go together, and really build those connections, whether it's building products together, collaborating together on marketing, whatever it might be. I think we can really serve that role in the industry, and I'm really looking forward to doing that.
That sounds a lot like what's happening in What's in Store Live right now. We've talked about that on the show. You've been thrown headfirst into a very deep pool with What's in Store Live because we are full on show planning right now.
Yes.
It's been interesting for me to see all of that come together, but we do have, I think it's over 60 individuals from dairy, deli, bakery, retailers, manufacturers, all of them coming together for What's in Store Live. So how does that, when you're thinking about those industry connections, the cross collaborations, how does that translate into What's in Store Live based on what you've seen in only your first couple of weeks?
Yes, I was actually very shocked, and maybe I shouldn't have been shocked, of how many of our members actually volunteer their time to do What's in Store Live. Mm-hmm. I knew that the industry came together to create What's in Store Live, but I didn't realize how many people we had involved in this, and it was amazing to see so many people from each category come together to pull this off. Mm-hmm. And what I think is really cool this year is we are organizing What's in Store Live by trend. So we're putting everyone together. The dairy, the deli, and the bakery is not separate in What's in Store Live this year, which is different than what it was in the past. And so it's really starting to cause everyone to work together even more, and finding ways to collaborate and connect. So I think the structure of What's in Store Live right now is really starting those conversations between all of the team members. But it's really incredible to see everyone come together and pull this off.
It has been. I was at the planning meeting in Orlando. We just had some folks on site at the office recently to plan for this year's show. And I think it's been really fun for me to watch the collaboration happen when people do cross-collaborate, because what has worked for dairy, what has worked for deli, may be a new concept for bakery, or we can pull from areas not only within the store, but within our industries and within, our retailers and manufacturers. So it's been fun to see where those hints of inspiration find the team and what they build from that.
Yeah, and hopefully it creates actual real-life collaborations. One of the things that we were really focused on at Emmi Roth, I worked in the marketing team, and we always were seeking out partners to collaborate in the deli because we're right next to each other. And the way consumers are shopping now is, I want to just go to one place and get everything I need, right?
Yes.
We don't want to think about it. We want to grab everything we need. And there's so many retailers doing such a great job cross-promoting brands and cross-promoting foods, where the consumer has such a great experience going into the store, grabbing a little cheese, grabbing meat to go with it. There's probably some crackers there and jam. Everything you need to entertain is right there. And so building up these collaborations in What's in Store Live, I hope that a lot of the companies take this back to their companies and say, let's do this in a bigger way.
I agree. I think one of the things that I have noticed as a little bit of a trend, and I appreciate as a consumer, is sometimes I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know what I want. And so it's nice to be able to go into a section of the store and just have some ideas thrown at me of what I could have for dinner, what grab and go might be good, what kind of charcuterie board could I build, and not have to come up with all of that on my own and see it in front of me and not have to go to 16 different places in the store to find all of that.
Yes, yes.
What's in Store Live is very largely based on the publication, What's in Store, which is now free for all of our members, all of the employees at all of our member companies. So this is a staple in the industry. We've been putting it out for years. What is your goal, or what are you excited about when you think of the What's in Store publication? Do you have any initial ideas you can share with us?
Well, really, What's in Store publication is meant to give our members the data they need to make the decisions about what products they might be creating, where they're at in the industry, how they could innovate, where the industry is going, right? And so I really want to make sure that we're providing those insights for members, but I'm also really excited to ask them what they want and what they need, right? All of our members are very different. We have a very diverse membership base, from large manufacturers and retailers down to small businesses. And so everyone needs different type of data, and the decisions that they're making with products or how they're growing their companies are very, very different. So I really am excited to dig into all the different needs our members have around research and data, and build out data streams for those different members in ways that are relevant for them, and thinking about what they need specifically.
I love that. I went to a trade show a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to some members about, or potential members too, about the What's in Store publication. And I could just see their eyes get big because they don't always have access to that information. And sometimes when you have access to it, it takes a long time to go through and figure out, what do you really need? Where are the essential pieces? And I think as I've gotten on board with IDDBA, one of my favorite things is that we have the trends, we do synthesize it so that we're giving people some things that they can follow. And then again, it's fun to see that come to life in What's in Store Live.
Yes, definitely.
Having been to the show for 10 years?
Give or take. Yeah, about maybe 13 years or so. I was trying to think back to my first show, like what year it was. So it definitely was during Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. It was the first time I went to IDDBA. So maybe 2016, 2015.
Okay.
Do you have my first show?
What was your first show like? What's happening at IDDBA back then?
Well, I was at that time in my life, I was having my children, and I will say it was a blur. I wish I could remember my very first IDDBA, but I really don't. I remember a lot of pieces of many different IDDBA shows. Back in the day, we were just talking here in the studio that when I worked at Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, which used to be the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, we did the Monday night party. So those always stick out in my mind of great moments at IDDBA, is going to the party and connecting and collaborating with all of our friends and cheese and beyond. So those were always really great memories.
I'm excited for my first Monday night party. Brandy, our event planner, was on the show a few weeks ago, and we challenged our listeners to get 50% of our show attendees at the Monday night party. There are some things that we have put together for attendees that we're not ready to talk about, but I am very excited about. What is your recommendation or best piece of advice for people going to their first Monday night party?
I think sometimes we get wrapped up in, like, the show is over, get me off the expo floor, because I need a salad and I need different shoes. Like, that is all I think about at the end of a show.
All right, we will have a salad waiting for Abby.
Yes. Must have some vegetables. That's all I want after a trade show, especially a food show. But I think it's worth it to stay, right? We're always kind of scattering around and we're running to the next thing. And I understand the last thing you want to do truly is to talk more after talking all day at your booth. I've been there, and you just want to go back to your hotel. You want to chill for a bit. You probably have a dinner later that you need to go to, but you would miss out on such an amazing opportunity to connect. Mm-hmm. And I would just advise, like, push through. Go for 30 minutes, see who's there, and you will make connections at events like this. And it's out of your booth, right? So if you're sitting at your booth all day, you're relying on who walks by. You probably have some meetings planned, and you know who's going to stop by. But to meet people you don't know, I think it's really worth it to go to an event like that.
And we did let everybody know that if they're going by themselves or they are an introvert and want somebody to go with, they're welcome to reach out to myself or any of our IDDBA team members, and we'll get a group together and head to the Monday night party. And if after 30 minutes, like you said, if people need a break, that's okay too. But we are doing the Champions of Change ceremony after the Monday night party this year, so that'll be a really great event as well.
Yes, definitely stay around for Champions of Change. This is something that recognizes people in our industry for the work that they're doing and celebrating successes. And it's really important to do that. I hope that anyone listening looks at Champions of Change for next year, nominates people that would be great for this, because we work in the food industry. So it doesn't stop, right? We're always trying to sell something. We're always running our retail store. Mm-hmm. We're always looking at the next thing we need to do. And recognizing people for their hard work and all the time that they've put into this industry is super important. So I would love to see a lot of people around, rallying around all the people receiving awards this year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I heard you mention advice for some first-time showgoers, including comfortable shoes. The latest tip I heard was bring 2 pairs of comfortable shoes. You wear one, yes, and when it gets all squished, you wear the other, and they can breathe life back into your first pair. Salads are essential, yes, on the last day of the show. Any other tips for first-time attendees?
Yeah, shoes, very important. I have not followed this before and really regretted that. Good shoes trump fashion always at a trade show. So I think I'm assuming most of our members know this by now from being on the trade show floor. One thing we always did at Emmi Roth, under my purview of being at the show, is order lunch for your team. There's so much food to be eaten around the show floor, but we rarely leave our booths. And you'll be a really popular person with your company if you bring in some fresh, great food for them to eat.
That's a great idea.
So there's tons of places at the expo hall. Grab some lunch, bring it to your team for the people that can't leave the booth. So that's one of our favorite things to do as a team, is gather around and scarf down some food and refuel as we're doing business on the show floor.
Yeah, that's great. We've talked about the Monday night party. We've talked about What's in Store Live. You are now a member of the leadership team at IDDBA. What do you hope that people get from our annual event?
I hope people walk away with inspiration, first of all, right? What's in Store Live is meant to inspire. It's meant to be a kind of grocery store of the future with ideas to bring back to your stores or to your companies as you work with your retailers on building out displays. So I really hope people leave inspired. That's something that is really important to me. I want to make sure everything that we're doing is inspirational and inspiring our members to grow, to innovate, and also I hope people leave with great connections. As coming from the manufacturer side, this is our chance to connect with our retailers that we partner with. And especially during the pandemic, we stopped doing a lot of in-person travel. And that has picked back up a little bit, but it's not like it used to be, right? Yeah. So this is the time. This is the time to have face-to-face time with your partners. So I hope people do that. I hope they are able to have great conversations, sell some product on the show floor. That's always something we want to see on both sides. I hope retailers find products that will make their stores even more consumer friendly, and I hope that manufacturers find the retail partners to sell in some new products and to build out the deli, dairy, and bakery in a way that really speaks to consumers.
Mm-hmm. I have an off-the-wall question for you.
Yeah.
So one thing I've heard about the show is that it is a lot. There's a lot to do, a lot to see, a lot to eat, a lot to smell and sample.
Yes.
How have you in the past kept all of your innovative ideas organized? I feel like when I walk a show floor, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a picture of this, and I'm gonna write a note about this, and I'm gonna put this in one note, and I'm gonna put this in my regular notes. And I'm so excited to document everything, and I have so many ideas that I am terrible at organizing them. And I consider myself a fairly organized person. Do you have a system you've used to capture all of this innovation so that it doesn't fall out of your brain by the time you get home?
It's such you almost feel like you're in a whole different world, right, at the show. And then you leave and go back to your desk and think, what just happened? How do I even remember all the things that I saw? I do agree, take pictures. I take pictures of everything that I see. I think that's probably the single source of making sure I don't forget the things that I've seen versus writing them down, right? You're not going to you might carry around a pen and pencil, but you're never going to be able to capture everything that you want to remember.
Right.
Take pictures. I really like to, if I speak to someone at a booth that I want to collaborate with. So when I was at Emmi Roth, if I found someone that we wanted to partner with, exchange contacts right away, because you probably won't do it afterwards. You'll forget. There's so many people to follow up with. So I got really good at saying, let's just connect right now so we don't forget to email each other after the show.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of follow-up afterwards.
Yes. And as you're taking pictures, make sure you're using the hashtag IDDBA 2026. We're going to have some social walls at the show, get those posts up there, see what you've missed, engage with other people. So hopefully that'll be a good tool to help people with the inspiration and innovation as well.
Yes, definitely share.
My last question for you is, if you fast forward to a year from now, what does a win look like for you? What is a success for you in the education department in your first year?
Really strengthening what we offer outside the show is really something I want to focus on. Obviously, the show is our number one place to connect with people and connect with our members, but we have so much to offer outside of the show, around the show, that I want to I really hope that our members start to see new things coming from the education team. We're going to be looking at trainings and webinars and events outside the show that we can further provide insights and connect our members. So I really love to see all of our members at those and attending those great events. I also want to make sure that we continue to deliver really relevant education content. So what is impacting our members today? I may be serving some members in the future, so watch for that. I want to hear from our members on what they really want, right? I can take my own experience and create education programs around what I know and what I've experienced in the manufacturing side. But there's a lot that I haven't experienced and that I don't know every single piece of content we should be creating. So I want to hear from our members on what do they want, what do they need from us, what can we provide for them. So I'm going to really be asking our members this year, what can we give you that makes you more successful in your job? And then also want to make sure that I make a lot of connections. And, I've spent most of my career in dairy, and, there's still a whole other part of our membership that is in, deli and bakery. Mm-hmm. So my goal this year is to make sure that I'm connecting with those sides of the industry. So success to me will be to have some friends on that side and know those members from those areas and listen to what they need from us and start building a lot of those connections throughout the entire association.
And I've said it before, I will say it again. We at IDDBA love questions. We love it when people reach out. So don't feel like you have to wait for the invitation.
Yes.
Reach out to Abby, reach out to myself. We're excited to continue conversations at the show, on the podcast, and through all of our great member resources.
Yes, please do.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Abby. It was wonderful to have you on the show, and I'm so glad you're here with us at IDDBA.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and I really look forward to seeing everyone at the show.
Remember, Fresh Take with IDDBA drops 2 episodes a month on the first and third Tuesdays. Our next episode will feature IDDBA show advice to help you get the most from IDDBA 2026. Head over to IDDBA.org to register, and we'll see you in Orlando June 7th through the 9th. To ensure you don't miss an episode of Fresh Take with IDDBA, hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for tuning in to Fresh Take with IDDBA.